Here, darling.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Sweetheart, it's 8 o'clock. It's Thursday. It's time for our weekly gripe session.
Oh, yes, of course.
Unless, of course, you'd rather skip it, darling.
No, honey. It's perfectly all right. No.
I mean, I wouldn't have interrupted your reading for the world, except you know that our marriage counselor told us that it's good to have these at a regular time.
I know, darling, so that we can air any uncomfortable feelings we might be having.
Right, because irritations and abrasions do build up unless they're aired.
And we do want our marriage to work, don't we, darling?
Oh, my baby.
All right, darling. Would you like to go first?
No, I tell you what, since I suggested it, why don't you go first this week?
Thank you, darling. Well, I really don't have any grievances this week.
You don't? Oh, Bob, now, honey, come on. Please, be honest.
Betty, please don't call me dishonest.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling. I didn't mean it.
There are no grievances, no gripes, nothing at all.
Well, that's wonderful.
Your voice has been very mild and gentle and loving. You know, non-attacking. There was just one little moment during the entire week that it took on that grating tone.
Oh, I wasn't aware that my voice had a grating tone.
Oh, honey, I said it was only one time this week.
Oh, I see.
Remember when we were playing bridge with Leo and Dorothy?
Yes.
And they made that grand slam? And you sort of whined, "No fair! You guys always get the cards!"
Darling, you know what you just did then? You imitated me. I mean, and that's below the belt. That's what the counselor said. He said that's a hostile emotion, imitating someone.
You're right.
I mean, that's
I
not
hear you.
fair in an argument.
Darling, I hear you. I
right.
accept that.
Oh, good.
All I said was that I was irritated, rightly or wrongly,
I understand.
by your voice.
Yes. Okay.
And Leo and Dorothy apparently were also.
Oh, Leo and Dorothy talked about my voice?
No, darling, Leo just made one small comment. Like, my God, she's a sore loser, isn't she? Dorothy kind of nodded and stared at the ceiling.
Leo said I was a sore loser?
That's the tone.
The very same Leo who just last week in our backyard lost at table tennis and got so mad that he kicked in our barbecue and dislodged 3 bricks?
Betty, that's the very tone.
Well, All right. But are you sure that your reaction to my voice isn't connected with your habitual hostile reaction to women in general because of your 8 sisters and your mother?
Now, wait a minute,
No,
Betty.
no. It is not your fault that they almost completely destroyed your masculinity. I mean, don't you remember telling me about the time when you were just a little tyke? And your sisters came into the room when you were asleep, and they painted your fingernails red, bright red, and you had to go to school the next morning that way, and all the kids taunted you and called you a pervert.
They didn't call me pervert, they called me sissy.
All right. Words. Well, are you finished with your grievances?
Yes,
Liz?
darling.
My turn now?
Go fire away, darling.
All right.
What's yours?
Well, just one teeny weeny one this week in the romantic department.
The romantic department.
Yes.
Check.
I guess it's because you've been reading this book, How to Put Zing Back into Your Marriage, and I'm sure you did it all for my sake, but I...
You mean you didn't enjoy my dressing up as Tarzan?
No.
Well, that's odd. In chapter 10, the author specifically recommends pulling a sexual surprise.
Well, perhaps he had another kind of surprise in mind.
That's possible, of course. You see, my objective was to introduce a note of, playful lust.
Oh.
You didn't agree, evidently.
No, as a matter of fact, I found it rather embarrassing.
May I ask why?
Well, Bob, truthfully, it did not show your body off to its best advantage.
Betty, have you taken a good look at your body in a mirror
Is this what we have come to tonight in this session? Taunts about our physicality?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a random lashing up.
I know.
Regression to childhood.
I know.
I'm sorry, darling.
That's
I'm
all
truly
right,
sorry.
darling.
Forgive me.
Apology accepted. Isn't it terrific how these therapy sessions are working for us?
I know. And a good thing, too. Neither of us is attractive or young enough to find someone else at this stage of the game.
I do think tonight's session was particularly rewarding.
I think so, too. Getting rid of your hostilities is so healthy.